Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about how to remove fear from your body permanently. When I say remove fear from your body permanently, it's going to be a long-term process, but first step is always important. And there is a saying called nothing is better than something. So I would like to start with my own personal story. So back in 2017, I was in my final semester of my bachelor's degree, and I was driving bike fast, extremely fast, because I was getting late for my internship, and I had a very massive car accident. And on that car accident, I just like jump 2 to 3 feet above from my bike and just fall down, and then my leg was just completely broken up. So my soul, it was just like moving like this, like a spring. So luckily there was some people, they admitted me to the hospital, and literally 90 days I was in the bed. So a guy who's in his early 20, he couldn't even go to toilet. So my mom, literally she used to take me to the toilet. My dad sometimes used to take me to the toilet. And there was a time I was literally taking shit on the same bed. It was very painful process. There was a pipe in my urine and everything. I couldn't move. And when you can't move, when your body can't function, that time all you can just do is just like you get into those thoughts. What if you're not able to walk again? What if you're not able to laugh again like your friends are doing? And I was very lucky enough that I could save my life, and since then I started appreciating that I'm alive, and I'm just talking next to you guys. So those 2 years was pretty rough year of my life, and after that 2020 COVID happened. I came to Australia on fully funded scholarship, and during that scholarship again I was alone, and then again I used to think a lot, and then I had a fear. What if I fail the exam? What if my scholarship get cancelled? What if I'm not good enough? What if I can't speak English well? And those fears, those daunting thoughts started creating massive anxiety, massive depression in my body. And result was I gained weight. I was completely different person. I used to eat a lot at the middle of the night just as a part of my stress. I isolated myself completely. I wasn't even talking to my friend. I wasn't even like talking to my family, and I was locked in. But one day something happened. So the meditation practice which I left in 2019, I started meditating again. I started practicing my Vipassana meditation, and with the help of Vipassana meditation practice, I started begin to see within myself instead of just like looking outside. And then very interesting realization I had, and since then my life is completely changed. So in this video I'm going to talk about what's the reality, how we consume the reality of the world, how our thought process works, and what is real and what's not, right? So let's begin. So in this world, so world of the reality, I'm going to put some image over here so you can see our image over here. I was about to trying to explain on my board, but since it's just like replicating because I'm using my front camera, but if you can just see, so this is right, so this is earth, and in this earth we are processing, we are consuming the reality of 2 million bits of information. So where these numbers are coming from? These numbers are coming from for the earlier psychological studies of neuro-linguistic programming. So 2 millions of information we are consuming every single second. 2 millions of bits of information. What this 2 millions of bits of information look like? It's smell, sound, touch, the way you breathe, the way you look around, your subconscious, like bird sounds, sounds and everything, whatever around you is 2 million bits of information per second. It's just like in our head. But how much information by our human capacity which we can hold is only 134k bits of information. So what does it mean is consciously we can only hold 7 to 8 tasks. We can just pay only attention to the 7 to 8 plus minus 2 consciously. For example, if you start your day, you're not going to remember about what was the tram, was a bus driver, or some random employer, whatever. You will be just focusing on the 7 to 8 things repetitively. And among those 7 to 8 things, most of them are your negative thoughts, the story which you have been telling to yourself. Why I'm telling this? So let's go back to the image. I'm going to put image over here, so don't worry about it. Look at the earth. So on this earth, we are getting 2 millions of bits of information per second, right? But our brain capacity is only holding 134k bits of information. It means consciously, if you put attention, only 7 to 9 tasks per day, like second, you're just holding on to that. So it means we are filtering the reality. And how we are holding this conscious bits of information? We're holding that constant bits of information based on our picture, what we see, based on the sound which we heard, based on smell and the taste and touch. So let's take an example. Show a baby a snake. Baby don't know anything about snake, right? If you show a baby a snake, baby will just go and grab the snake. But if you show the same snake to someone who's 10 years older, right? So that guy probably will get scared of snake. Why? I want you to take a pause over here and think why. Because we have been told there is a snake and snake bites, and if snakes bites, then it's a danger. So we perceive the information based on what we have been told, right? So it doesn't mean like time snake is not going to bite to you. Obviously there are some research, there are some experience that snake is a dangerous animal, and if you just touch them, it's going to bite you, right? But there is some partial reality. It's not a complete reality. Some snake might look at you and they will just go away. But just because you have created an idea, if you see, whenever you see snake, you will think, oh, the snake is going to bite me. But in reality of actual world, snake might be scared of you as well, because his life is in danger as well, and your life is in danger as well. So you both will try to just run in your defense mechanism, right? So let me relate with my personal story over here. So whatever reality which I'm seeing in the world is based on the information which I have downloaded in my head. And what that information? For example, my dad asked me non-veg is bad, right? So, and my other friend, his dad told him eating non-veg is good because it's a good source of protein. So my reality, eating non-veg is completely bad because family don't hurt animal or whatever it is. Like, we are not completely vegetarian, just an example. But my friend who believe this is the food cycle and everyone should have a non-veg, right? So two people living in the same real world, but their reality to looking at the life is completely different. What does it mean is, picture at the picture, my dad have seen the picture of cutting the animal. It's a very brutal task. However, my friend's dad might have seen it's a adventurous stuff because his grandfather might have passed that information to him. His dad's surrounding, it's look like all they just go on a hunt and everything. So that's their way of living the life. And my dad's living of life is just go get some vegetarian food and just do some etc. And who's right over here? Who's correct? Whose personality is correct? His dad's personality or my dad's personality? In reality, none of the personality is correct over here. The reason behind it, both of them have downloaded the filtered reality of the world based on what makes them sense, what their surrounding has been telling them. So let's come to the point of fear. Whatever fear you feeling is not actually your fear. It's the fear which people have experiences and try to implant in your head, right? For example, if someone failed the exam, everyone just started devaluing that person if they fail the exam. If someone is pretty fat, then people just say, oh, you're so fat, right? It doesn't mean like shouldn't go to gym, but people just put their opinion in your head. And then you started doubting yourself. Oh yeah, fat is actually bad. If you can't speak English, then you just say, you started getting some low self-esteem about yourself. But you don't understand this information is a story which you've been telling to yourself. It has nothing to do with your reality, right? So whenever you hear this information, you create some sensation in your body. So most of the people think, oh, how to get rid of my negative thinking, or how to get rid of my negative thought. But what define as a negative thought and what define as a positive thought? Have you ever asked yourself question? So negative thought is nothing but you are attached, you are giving importance to some unpleasant things in your life, and that creating some unpleasant sensation in your body. However, the positive thought is, on the other hand, is you thinking about something good, and that's also giving you nice sensation in your body. So what's the yardstick of measuring positive and negative? It's at the end is a sensation, right? So sensation is always in your body, and the characteristic of sensation is comes and go. So okay, take another example. If you go to gym and if you lift lots of dumbbells, your body hurts, your body feels like a little bit ache, pain, your body feels sore, but you don't sit and cry for like that, oh my body is so sore, I'm so depressed. It's a little bit pain, but you enjoy that pain in a good way, right? But when there is a chest congestion, when you feel anxiety, then the same body ache. Some people might have feel anxiety over their back, some people feel in the chest, some people feel like dry mouth or whatever. So dry mouth, when you run, you don't drink water, you feel dry mouth. But when you're anxious, when you panic, you feel dry mouth as well. So what's the difference? It's a thought you put on, give the meaning to that sensation. When you give meaning to that sensation, which is not even reality, which is just a story which you have experienced in the past, and you think this story is going to happen again, and this story is going to happen again, that has created your mental pattern, and that's the reason you feel fearful. So next time, whenever you feel stress, whenever you feel anxious, ask yourself question, is it the actual reality, or this is the reality which I have been telling myself over and over again from last 2 to 3 decades or years, and this is my reality, or this is people's reality, that's what people think. Ask yourself this question, and whenever you get realized, instead of focusing on that and taking actions based on that, if you simply do not react, just pause, and if you simply do not react, you are creating new mind map in your brain, if that makes sense.